On the wedding night, the bride Alba catches sight of her husband dating another woman. Alba becomes utterly desperate and, in front of both of them, jumps into the sea. However, a few days after Alba's death, the groom unexpectedly sees a mermaid who bears a striking resemblance to Alba. There is a mysterious pet store in Chinatown. The owner always wears a beautiful Chinese tunic. They called him Count D. The store sells all kinds of exotic animals. As long as the contract is kept, these pets will bring good luck to the customers, even realize their dreams. But if the contract is broken, the store will not be responsible for any accidents. Just a short time ago, the beautiful and popular singer Alba, she fell into the sea during her cruise ship wedding and her whereabouts are unknown. The news quickly spread throughout the city. A week later, Alba's husband Yeso came to the pet store in Count D to claim the pet Alba ordered before she died. So Count D took him to a secret room. Yeso saw a huge porcelain vase in the dark room. Looking down from the jar's mouth, the water was pitch black, and suddenly a woman's face appeared in the water. It was the missing Alba. She still had their wedding ring on her hand. Yeso was very excited, but Count D warned him not to approach. It was then that Yeso realized that the woman in front of him was a mermaid. Count D said he found the mermaid on the night of the full moon last week on the beach. She had lost all her memories when she was found, and that was the day Alba had her accident. Count D continued mysteriously. According to Eastern legend, mermaids live in palaces under the sea. They occasionally come to shore to unite with humans. Maybe your wife, Alba, is really a mermaid. Yeso listened and couldn't wait to bring Alba back. Count D signed a contract with him. Yeso was told not to let anyone see the mermaid, and to change the seawater regularly. Most importantly, never let her go hungry, otherwise, the pet store would not be responsible for what happened. Yeso brought the mermaid home and kept her in his pool, and took good care of the mermaid. He looked at the mermaid's face and he had the illusion. It was as if Alba had never left him. The next day, the detective in charge of investigating Alba's disappearance found Count D and suspected Yeso of being involved in her fall into the sea. But Count D said he could see that Yeso was grieving from his heart. The detective thought that if Yeso wasn't the killer, maybe he was covering for someone. They soon found Alba's assistant Louise, who had returned to her hometown right after Alba's accident. She and Yeso were once lovers, but Yeso later moved on and got together with Alba. If Louise resented Alba, and chose the wedding day to take revenge on her, this speculation sounds reasonable. On the other hand, Yeso was sitting by the pool every day. He is sad that Alba has forgotten himself. In a trance, he heard the mermaid singing Alba's hit song. Yeso went up to the mermaid and hugged her excitedly. He vowed to stay with her forever. At that moment, he has completely recognized the mermaid as Alba. Soon the detective found Louise, but she said she and Yeso had long since broken off their relationship. Sincere tears confused the detective. Without evidence, the investigation was at a standstill. When Count D heard this, he taunted the detective that there is no truth in human female tears. Just then, police found Alba's remains, half-eaten by fish, confirming her death. News of Alba's confirmed death spreads. Louise rushed to Yeso. Yeso appeared distressed and told Louise that Alba was his true love. They were ready to start over and told her not to bother them anymore. But all Louise sees in the pool is a big, fierce fish. After rejecting Louise, Yeso turns around and goes back to the pool. He embraces the mermaid like a lover, but is completely unaware. His body, under the sharp claws of the mermaid, had already appeared wounds. Yeso, who was in a trance, had forgotten about the pet store contract. Because she was worried about Yeso, Louise finally told the detective the truth. It turns out that Yeso has been in love with Louise all along. He told Louise he had to do it for his career and future. He had to get together with singer Alba. At that moment, their conversation was all watched by Alba in her wedding dress. The proud singer could not bear such a blow. She jumped into the sea in a fit of rage. Yeso and Louise feel guilty for Alba's death, so they agreed that they would never see each other again. Now Yeso mistakes a strange fish for Alba. Louise is convinced that this must be Alba's revenge. The detective remembered that Count D had sold Yeso a mermaid. He went to the pet store in anger and questioned her. Count D said calmly that if there was an accident, maybe Yeso forgot to feed it. The police then immediately went to Yeso's house. The air was thick with the smell of blood. The pool was filled with blood and the remains of Yeso's body. A huge monster fish jumped up from the water. It turns out there is no mermaid at all. Later the police found in the belly of the strange fish Alba's upper body remains, and that's when the dust settled. Two people who did not love each other in the belly of the monster fish to complete the vow to be together forever. A few days later, a sad couple came to the pet store. Their daughter had recently passed away, and the husband decided to buy a pet to comfort his wife. Count D suggested a valuable rabbit that had just arrived at the store, which would certainly please them. However, when the couple saw the rabbit, they were shocked because it looked just like their daughter Alice. The wife questioned Count D, but he insisted that it was just a rabbit from a rare breed on a remote island. The couple decided to buy the rabbit and signed a contract with Count D. He reminded them to follow every rule in the contract, which included not letting anyone else see the rabbit, keeping the accompanying incense burning, and only feeding the rabbit vegetables and water. If they broke the contract, the pet store would not be responsible for any accidents. At home, the couple was ecstatic to have Alice back, and the rabbit even called them Mom and Dad, further solidifying their belief that it was their daughter. They only fed Alice vegetables and water 3 times a day as stipulated but that day Alice suddenly wanted to eat the cookies on the table. The wife did not hesitate to get up to get. The husband reminded her of the contract, but after Alice's pleading, her husband finally gave in. After seeing that Alice was not affected by eating the cookie, they forgot about their contract with Count D. Alice's personality started to become more and more violent and she refused to eat anything other than pastries. At this moment, Alice suddenly covered her stomach in pain. When Alice suddenly began to grip her stomach in pain, her abdomen started to bulge and a lot of living creatures seemed to be inside her. Finally, her body was torn alive. A number of baby-like creatures emerged from inside. They kept crying for their mother. At that moment, Count D sensed that they had violated the contract. When the police arrived, the house was filled with the strong smell of blood. In the darkness, thousands of rabbits were glaring. The male host had collapsed in a pool of blood. The police interrogated Count D, asking what kind of monsters he had sold, but Count D said it was just a rabbit with a high reproductive capacity. He also stated that they had breached the contract first and that he was not responsible for anything. Later they found the lady in the corner who was in a trance. She stated that every time Alice ate a cookie, she would smile like an angel, and she just couldn't bear to see her daughter upset. She told them the reason for her daughter's death. Alice had been the apple of her parents' eye since she was a child. Their family was so well off that they did everything they could for their daughter. Later Alice became more and more unruly and the couple did not stop her, until she started hurting others and even became addicted to drugs. While in rehab, she begged her mother to give her illegal drugs. Just once, just one last time, her mother couldn't say no to her daughter, and it was this last time that led to Alice's death. That's when a bunch of rabbits swooped in, but instantly fell to the ground in agony, all dead. The additives in the snack are harmless to humans, but for small animals, they are highly toxic. The rabbits, like Alice, both died of the couple's overindulgence. Trying to satisfy all of a child's demands in order to make them happy ultimately became a tragedy. A man buys a beautiful lizard person and then wants to take her home immediately. Wanting to get to know her better, the owner of the pet store then signs a contract with him and warns him not to look her in the eyes. If the customer violates the contract, the store will not be responsible for anything. The owner's name is Count D. He is the owner of this mysterious pet store. The story begins when Detective Leon receives a strange case. An actor named Robin died in his home. Strangely enough, there is no wound on his body, but there was a dead silver lizard on his body. Several deaths related to pets had occurred in recent years. Leon couldn't help but think of Count D, the owner of the pet store. This time, the victim was a client of Count D. Leon went to the pet store again to investigate. Count D didn't seem surprised by Robin's death, but he didn't expect that even the lizard was dead. But lizards are not a poisonous species. Count D said he didn't know anything. Leon had no choice but to bring out a box of desserts, because Count D couldn't refuse the dessert. It's the only way to get some useful information from him. Count D said mysteriously, 10 years ago, Robin, who loved acting, suddenly became popular, because his role as the alien prince was so amazing. No matter how hard he tried to sharpen his acting skills, people only paid attention to his handsome appearance. After that, he had no more good works. Robin's will gradually became depressed. It turned out Robin was a regular customer of this pet store. He loved to breed lizards and snakes and other cold-blooded animals. His wife also left him for this reason. 2 months ago, Count D recommended to Robin a rare pet species that had just arrived. A silver-tailed lizard with the appearance of a young girl. Robin was shocked because her skin had the cold-blooded feel of a reptile. Count D said this lizard was used as an assassination weapon in ancient times. She has a very attractive appearance. Those who look at her will be instantly petrified. People also call her Medusa. Despite this frightening ability, Robin was willing to take her home and made a contract with Count D promising never to look her in the eye. Once home, Robin took good care of Medusa. They soon fell in love with each other. Unlike other women who only liked Robin's appearance, Medusa relied entirely on him and was completely devoted to him. Robin found a spiritual refuge in Medusa and lost himself in its beauty every day. One day, his agent told him he had one last chance to audition for a role. If Robin didn't get the role again, the company would have to take back his house. His pets would have to be disposed of. Robin couldn't live without Medusa anymore. On the day of the audition, Robin did a great job. He was back to his best. However, he did not get the role because the newcomer actress was in an inappropriate relationship with the producer. Devastated, Robin returned home. He was about to lose the love of his life, but there was nothing he could do about it. Embracing his beloved Medusa, Robin makes a final decision. He gave Medusa exquisite makeup. They drank wine by candlelight. Robin suddenly removes the ribbon from Medusa's eyes. Medusa turned her head away in panic. She also realized Robin's last wish. He would rather die in his lover's arms if he couldn't stay together. Medusa finally opened her eyes. They looked at each other, and Robin was amazed by Medusa's beautiful face. Unfortunately, that one look was the last. Robin left this world with a sense of satisfaction and sadness that we could not be together. Medusa saw her lover for the first time, but it was only a parting of life and death. Disheartened, Medusa looked at her eyes in the mirror. In the end, she died with Robin. At Robin's funeral, Count D brought Medusa's ashes, hoped to bury them together. It was the first and last time they met. Legend has it that whoever wins Kieran Beast will win the world, and Kieran Beast appears only for the Real King. This is the anime Petto Shoppu Obi Horazu, the most exciting episode. You must see the ending. In a very old notebook there is a story. A politician enters Count D's pet shop and buys a Kieran Beast. Count D says that only a king can gain the Kieran Beast's approval, so the person who obtains the Kieran Beast becomes the president at that time. Young Congressman Roger and his secretary Kelly saw the notebook. They went to the mysterious pet store. They offered to buy a Kieran Beast, but were rejected on the spot. Count D said, "No matter how much you can offer, I can't sell what I don't have." The three of them were at a standstill and the crowd of onlookers grew. Fortunately, Detective Leon showed up and Roger had no choice but to leave. Congressman Roger was born into a political family. He was the least powerful member of his family. His chances of winning the election were very slim. He complains about his situation and indulges in gambling and drinking, ignoring his official duties. At night, Roger's fiancée Nancy brings him some tea. She only sees Kelly working. Kelly hurriedly defended Roger, but Nancy had already seen Roger for what he was. He's just a philandering aristocrat. Nancy is also from a wealthy noble family, and the three of them have been classmates and friends for many years. Roger only got engaged to Nancy because of her family's financial support. After years of being together, Nancy has grown to love the honest and gentle Kelly, wanting to cancel the engagement and be with him. However, Kelly firmly rejects her, telling her that he wants her to become the future First Lady. Kelly came to the pet store again. He wanted to pick out a gift for Nancy to comfort her. The moment they stepped into the pet store, Count D immediately sensed something unusual. All the animals in the store became agitated. Even the arrogant Count D saluted both of them respectfully. Count D suddenly tells Kelly to come back with Roger tomorrow to get the Kieran Beast. In fact, Kelly has been helping Roger for his own personal reasons. His father died in the war. He and his mother were left with debts and almost couldn't survive. At the most difficult moment, he met Roger. He was able to continue his education thanks to a grant from Roger's family. He plans to support Roger to become the president, not only to repay his kindness but also to govern the country using Roger's power, creating a world without war, and achieving peace. And then Nancy will be the president's wife, and live the best life possible. But Nancy was tired of all this. All she wants is a normal, happy family. The next day Roger and Kelly arrive at the pet store. Roger taunted Count D for his sudden change of heart. He didn't even want money, but Count D said that it was Kieran Beast's idea. They followed Count D into the innermost secret room, where they only saw a beautifully dressed girl sitting on a bed. The girl was the Kieran Beast that had descended to the earth. When Roger saw the girl, he sneered and thought Count D was a fraud. They were about to leave when Count D suddenly shouted, "Your Excellency, the President." They stopped in their tracks, with the smell of incense filling the room. Count D told them that as long as they obtained the Kieran Beast, their path to the election would be smooth, and a world without war could also be achieved. Thus, They took the Kieran beast away. They did not know that it was not the king who chose the Kieran beast, but the Kieran beast that chose the king. It would fulfill the king's wish at the cost of people's lives. So, who'll the Kieran beast choose? On the way back, a school bus suddenly lost control and was about to crash into the guardrail. Roger and Kelly immediately drove to intercept the bus and helped it slow down and stop. To save the children, their car went off the cliff. Just at that moment, the Kieran beast showed its true form. It came to Kelly, who was seriously injured, and asked him what his last wish was. In fact, for many years, Kelly had deeply loved Nancy, but he knew that his family background was not worthy of her, so he could only hide his feelings for her in his heart. Kelly thought that his ideals were more important than anything else. However, when he really faced the choice, he realized that his dream had already become making Nancy happy. This school bus incident was so sensational that it shocked the whole country. None of the children on the bus were injured. However, the two rescuers were seriously injured, and one of them died. People were praising Roger as a hero. The outcome of this election will not be in doubt. In the hospital, Roger woke up from his bed. He hears Nancy's news of Kelly's tragic death, but when he looks at the engagement ring on his hand, it dawns on him, the real Roger is dead. At this moment, Roger's body is Kelly's soul. Kelly, who had become Roger, took Nancy by the hand. He told her that he would give her a happy family, but only the two of them knew these words. When Roger was on the brink of death, the Kieran beast also asked him the same question. His answer was that he wanted to become the president. In fact, Kieran beast came down to earth for the queen of a country, so the person she really chose was Nancy. Only the person who makes Nancy happy will be recognized by Kieran beast.